Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Cafe Enchante, and we are in the last chapter of Ill's route. We may get our good ending in this part. I don't know. We don't have any choices. I don't know how long it's going to go, but also it just seemed a little anticlimactic that we were there and we're going to battle God, and then we just took the fuck off, and it's like he still has this are we going to... Is it just going to end? So I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. We're getting close to the happy ending, though. So, anyway. After the lively welcome for Ill with his regained emotion settles down.
I've been had. Curse you, assistant. No, angels. How dare you use me like that?
Mikado visited the shop after quite some time and starts banging his small palms on the table, clearly expressing anger at those not present.
Damn it! I wanted an assistant for personal use and started recruiting in secret from the higher-ups. A rare angel came for the interview, so I thought, lucky! Maybe I can even take a sample. And so I hired him. I even gave him a pay raise recently.
So he knew?
Wait, that sounds like you're the root of the problem.
Rindo, we won't blame you. Just fire him.
Stop that! Don't take away my research, my reason to live! And I didn't have any bad intentions! Of course I could somewhat tell them my assistant knew Ill. But I never thought they could have such a ridiculous history!
As Mikado laments, according to him, apparently he didn't even know that angels are emotionless. Having regained his emotions, Ill is somewhat sympathetic of him.
Well, we probably shouldn't blame only him. Even without infiltrating GPM, Solitus could have easily come up with a plan to run me down.
If you say so, we won't press any further. More importantly, Mikado, if you're really regretful, take Ill's medical exam more seriously.
I know that! Ill, please hold still.
Yes. Mikado stands on tiptoes and peers into Ill's eyes as he sits next to me using a penlight. After saying, while observing both eyes, he puts the light back in his pocket.
Yeah, there's no sign of strange manipulations or abnormal blurs and movements. The same goes for the earlier psychiatric examination. Well, there were some airheaded responses, but I can determine there are no problems.
Then...
Yes, I can declare it. He's been totally freed from this god thing you spoke of.
All right, that's great, Ill.
Yes, this is because of everyone, and you, Spacey. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's great and all, but...
As Ill smiles, Ignis gives him a straight look.
Hey, are you sure you stopped copying that Otome game?
Yes, and now that my own will is awoken, there's no need for that.
Oh, really?
I get what Ignis is trying to say. It's kind of,
Alright, Ill. To test, try making a smug expression. Nope, couldn't even last 5 seconds. Did this guy really gain his own personality?
His air hasn't changed much, has it? Oh, now that you mention it, I wonder why.
I can see where you're coming from. When I heard the story, I looked into this Il Fado de Rie who appears in that Otome game. Here, take a careful read over his introduction on the official website.
After saying this, Mikado shows us on a larger tablet screen. A sheltered noble who was brought up overprotected, a recluse of sorts. That reminds me, his background was something like that. Wait, don't tell me...
I also heard that he lived a rather similar life in this environment. In that case, it would only be natural for his newly born personality to be similar. Although I suppose he takes things he had a tad more seriously. That's the extent of his change, no?
During his explanation, everyone grows a little weak, and Ignis changes the subject. Look, he can't just all of a sudden get a new personality overnight. I mean, technically he can, but...
Wait, so you're a demigod? You, the most useless man on the planet. Isn't God a machine anyway? Does that make you a robot?
See, Ignis and I are on the same fucking page. You may be fleshy, but you're a fleshy fucking robot. Il shakes his head at that question.
I was simply given a combat protocol. He designed me for this purpose, and this purpose alone. And no other such individual exists aside from me. And thus I'm a demigod, in name only.
I see. You have been given a function that God was originally equipped with, I take it. Was that what he meant by return unto me? At our words, Il nods slowly. I notice his wings are still split, half black and half white, except for he's not in his wings right now, but that's okay. Perhaps it was because Il chose his own form, which he manifested whenever he was at Enchante. After understanding all the explanations so far...
Well, regardless, it sounds like things got pretty sticky, but I'm glad you're safe.
When Rindo approaches with a gentle smile and attempts to place a hand on my shoulder...
No, don't touch her! Spacey is mine.
Huh? He suddenly embraces me from the side like he's shielding me, and I let out a weird voice. Yeah, that's definitely not something Il had before. When I look, Il is glaring at Rindo with a wary expression. Although it's more protective than scary. Hey, Il? Rindo didn't intend anything like...
No. Miser and Ignis told me before. That Rindo is a wolf always seeking women. Back then I thought Rindo was another demon beast and that was it, but now I understand just how dangerous he really is. Hence why I forbid you from going near him.
I mean, sure, Il presses himself against me in a fawning way. He looks me straight in the eyes with his teary eyes. Oh, he's gonna be clingy and fucking obnoxious. You're gonna be like that. Okay, you weren't like that before, now you're... Okay, great.
All the time I lost my emotions. I wanted to be near you, but we can barely even touch. So to make up for it, I want to feel your presence even closer. I want to feel your warmth, to feel the happiness in my heart and hold on to it forever.
We're, like, sitting at a table with a bunch of other people. Save that for later.
Is that okay?
I'm sure that's not his intention, but his fawning was terribly effective.
Hey, if you're gonna flirt around, do it when you're alone together.
How can I put it?
It's like his inability to read the atmosphere hasn't changed at all.
Or more like, well, I could vaguely sense it before. It seems that these two are in that kind of relationship. Vaguely sense it before. Candace is like, I sense that they might be in a relationship. If not, I'm not allowed to date anyone anyway, because Il's just apparently claimed me. An angel as a lover. Now isn't that just brimming with romance? Well, it's just like Enchante to have conversations with such a relaxed mood. Why don't we continue? No! I'll straighten up! This topic's gotten out of hand! I mean, that would be awkward. Everyone's like, so, like, you guys are lovers now? You're like, dude, can we not talk about that? Can we just not? Like, we haven't had that discussion, and it's weird that we're doing this in a public place. I somehow persuade Il to let go, although we resume the conversation. He stuck by me, closer than ever. He's gonna be clingy as fuck. We began to discuss God's Salvation Initiative. Yeah, okay, see, we weren't done with this, so we got a lot. I don't think we're gonna... Okay, maybe we won't get to the end in this part. Everyone sits in shock as I replay the memory in my head. However, maybe because everyone is used to extraordinary things happening, right away everyone believes it and starts seriously thinking of countermeasures. Il, when is this God intending to open the wormholes?
Most likely, it will be at noon in 3 days. And this is due to the scale of the project. They're trying to open a wormhole even larger than the one at Amasaki Island.
Don't tell me those weird arm things are gonna start popping out again.
I doubt it. This time the coordinates here are completely fixed.
What do you mean, coordinates? Karia asks a question about the new word that popped up.
To tell the truth, the reason God attempted to recover me is... Besides being a weapon of heaven, there's one other reason. In fact, this one is the true intention.
What? Il makes an expression more complicated than ever before and begins to reveal the situation. For For the Salvation Project, God researched the wormhole phenomenon. After devising magic to open them, their assembly experiments were repeated numerous times. Solitus was sent to the human world for these experiments, too. However, even with technology from the heavenly world, assembling a stable wormhole to a specific other world proved to be difficult. A direct connection to the human world, it required a relay point fixed somewhere inside of the heavenly world. In reality, the experiment by the heavenly world to open a wormhole at Amasaki Island failed due to the lack of a relay point, which only put stress on the realm's stability. However, that was simply the final experiment before the real event. The heavenly world already found a solution to the problem. Ah, fuck, is it my gate? Damn it! That's right. Back then, Solitus found a reliable gate connecting heaven to earth. He discovered its existence at the shop, along with me taking refuge and living here.
Ah!
The first to react to Ill's explanation was Mikado when he hits the table.
You're saying the gate here is going to serve as the relay point necessary to assemble the wormhole?
After everyone's surprise at Mikado's shouting, we all looked towards the room with the gate. Can we, turn off the connection to the angel realm? Can we just turn it off? I mean, that sucks because we can't get the poor fallen angel's refuge here, but, lesser of two evils. You can't come here now, but also, God's not going to kill us all.
Yes, my brain contained firm records of utilizing the gate here, so...
We're not destroying the gate, because then Miser will never be able to come or go. Oh.
Unique spirit energy detected. Location detected. Connecting to individual 0000 confirmed. Connection complete. Request from individual approved. Commencing execution of requested processes.
Process. With the reconnection back then, precise coordinate information was sent to God. Ill says this in an apologetic way. God. In an is a hard thing to say. I'm sorry. This conversation is too hard. I can't really keep up.
To put it a very simple way.
Mikado is a cold sweat and points straight up.
God has set the gate as a landmark, and he intends to open the wormhole for salvation right over Enchante.
What? Right over Enchante? In other words, in 3 days, the place will be the stage for humanity's crisis.
Yes, it must have been truly a godsend for heaven. And not only did they discover me in hiding, but I also contained all the information they required for the Salvation Project.
As Il says this, he makes it sound like everything is his fault. He must feel responsible for it. It's okay, Il. Don't make a face like that. Indeed, all we must do is stop God's project. Thank you. As though saying this, Il returns to his usual smile. So, is there a way to stop it?
The supermassive wormhole for the Salvation Project. It's likely already assembled, and the only way to prevent its opening would be to destroy God as its administrator. However, as a literal work of God, to control the overly large wormhole, God will likely have to be linked to it directly. And thus, even if we destroy God, doing so recklessly, the shock would likely send the wormhole out of control. Well, all I can say is that this would have...
Wait.
All I can say is this would probably have a terrible effect on the human world and others nearby. Yes, the human world and various other worlds. Could even end up connected to the mysterious, dangerous world where angels were annihilated.
However, Il, as you said, that would be the result of doing so recklessly. To put that the other way around, there would be no issue if we destroyed God delicately. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly correct. I see. So, for example, say God's defense is 100. You need to roll a 101 to stop him. Something like that?
Precise power control. The thing I'm worst at. After Mikado's easy-to-understand example, Miser already shows signs of giving up. However, according to Il, just hold back on power isn't quite what he's saying. The barrier protecting God was constructed from spirit energy from the furnace and is extremely strong. In terms of the human world, it's much like having the energy of the sun as your ally. Defeating that would require enough spirit energy or some alternative energy to destroy the sun. Miser can't control himself, and everyone else ends up powered down when going to Kylum, right? Then everyone focuses their gazes on Il.
Yes, the only one suitable is me, as my homeland is Kylum. And that's the only answer.
However, the requirements are difficult. Il's face darkens as though saying this. Okay, so we got him back, but are we going to lose him now? Because, I don't know.
First and most important, the attacks of angels are ineffective against God. In fact, near God, there's even the risk of losing control over one's body.
I actually saw that happen before, so my face goes just as dark as Il's. Energy needed to destroy God. A way to make attacks affect God. A way to oppose God's control. Without these three things, Il has no chance to defeat God. Then what can we do? Right when the conversation ends up in a total stalemate. About that matter, I have just a little idea for that. I'm gonna guess... What's his fucking name? I cannot remember his name right now. Well, I can't remember... Not Solitus, the other one. His voice is... Yep. He just walked through town like that. Okay. Not even a robe, nothing. Just... Epilogy. Right. What was I thinking? I was like, his name started... I was like, it's... I forgot exactly what I was thinking, but I was... Epilogue didn't come to mind. I was like, what the fuck is his name? Because at least that would have been close. I don't know why I couldn't remember it. Epilogy, welcome back! Did you take care of everything? After meeting up in the human world, Epilogy had gone his own way for a while and returns with a lively response. Did he come through the gate with us? I thought we told him to go through the wormhole. I don't remember. Well, anyway. Thanks to you, the other fallen angels are all safely in the care of GPM. Anyway, when I came in, I heard you talking about a way to oppose God. I have some ideas. Could you come with me to the laboratory we used as a stronghold before?
In that laboratory?
Yeah, that. It's a laboratory from the dawn of the world we knew as the heavenly world Kylum. In other words, it's a facility that humans used before we angels were ever created. And for some reason, there are records connected to you. To Il, you say? But...
Yes, isn't that strange? At the time, God was still only in development, and the concept of angels didn't even exist.
Well, it'll be faster to see it than explain it to you here. Led by Epilogy, hiding in the presence of Il and I, we head to Kylum.
This is...
The moment we enter the laboratory, Il lets out a heart-rending voice. I see. So this was the place... I also recall his memory we saw in the tower. Il approaches the center of the room and gently falls to his knees. He closes his eyes and softly puts his hands together in prayer. That's right. In the past, Il spent time here with the Apostles of Recollection, and it's the place where he killed them. Il...
I'm fine, Spacey. I just wanted to tell them in prayer what I couldn't back then. To say thank you for meeting me.
I see. I'm sure those two are happy. After closing his eyes in a heart-rending way, Il quickly stands back up, as though renewing his mood.
However, now I see why you were able to hide in safety for all this time. Here they developed the jamming magic that sealed my movement. You reconstructed it from data left in the terminals, and used that to create a barrier to hide from prying eyes, right?
Yeah, although it was a total coincidence that we found it. Seeing how the Apostles of Recollection govern knowledge, no wonder their jamming was so strong. Still, maybe to prevent its misuse, there was a limit on number of reconstructions. Due to that, jamming can't be used anymore. He mutters this in a dejected way. Then all the information about Kylum and the data records you talked about before are also... Yeah, probably from those two. It had nothing to do with us before, so I ignored it. But after the recent emergency, I remembered there was something like this. And now, it's a pretty interesting record. For some reason, Apology is looking at Il with interest. Well, anyway, I'll play back the data. It's deteriorated a bit, so there are places where it's broken, but... Apology starts operating it, and the window floating in the air displays text that I can't read. This seems to be the writing of Kylum. The two of them start reading it aloud in a way for me to understand. It was a record left by a certain virtuous scientist who was involved in developing God. This is a record I leave for self-contention. I pray a person of sound character finds it. As a child, I arrived on this world over a decade ago. Those in power and my fellow scientists are foolish. They disrespect the spirit beasts who are friendly toward us and aim to create forbidden technology. To create an autonomous artificial intelligence for total control over this world. A project to develop God. I thought it truly ludicrous, but unfortunately, I seem to possess special talents as a scientist. I was forced to participate in this development project and imprisoned in this laboratory. I cannot hold back my disgust. Maintaining equilibrium is impossible. I'm sure this God would find its human creators unnecessary and exterminate them. Despite my objections, none of my colleagues would listen. In that case, I must fight alone. I have little time. Due to the unreasonable development schedule, my body is gnawed away by illness. I'm sure my life will be exhausted by the time God is completed. Before then, I must do something. Unseen by my colleagues, I decided to prepare 2 countermeasures. The first, forgotten by people at the end of prosperity. To preserve a way to return to one day, I made the existence of completely hidden. If the completed God or people in power realize the existence and function of, there's no mistake that they would misuse it. To do this, I made allies of the spirit beasts captured in the laboratory as test subjects. Giving them a terminal with a unique concealment system, I succeeded in letting them escape. Using that system combined with the power they wield. Hiding that space itself from visual perception and physical contact using a special barrier succeeded. Therefore, if I die, no one will know of the existence of that place. If possible, before then I'd like to escape from here, and even if I'd like to return to dearly missed... I also applied a genetic authentication system, so only me as the exception could discover it. But the hopes of that are slim.
You okay, buddy?
Where the hell'd you go?
Oh, you're in your cage. What you doing? Scared by outside? It's just the light shining through the trees.
You just got freaked out, sorry. Also, the next measure is my true intention. After completion, to prepare for God's episode, a way to neutralize all commands and functions. In the end, I will implement a self-destruct failsafe to implement into the artificial intelligence in secret. Implement a self-destruct failsafe to implement into the... I shall call it the implementation. The Judgment Project. So ill.
Judgment.
Yeah, the same name as your role. Originally, this program was supposed to activate when God did harm to humans, but...
From there, it switches to Ill's Friends, a record left by the Apostles of Recollection. However, the virtuous scientist made one miscalculation. That was putting the Judgment program inside of the combat protocol in order to conceal it. That's right, after his death, the completed God created the first angel as a weapon, and he transferred that part of himself into the Apostle of Judgment. Therefore, after parting with it, God could process doing harm to humans without self-destructing. Humans, spirit beasts, all existences that threaten perpetuity were killed and used as materials for angels.
So, what you're saying is, the only way to kill God is for ill to die?
However, in exchange, while the Apostle of Judgment was the most loyal individual to God, he was also the only individual created with the function to destroy God. If he awoke to his own will and determined God to be a threat, he could use that program, turn his blade against God, and overthrow him.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, that would suck.
Like, Ill's like, I have to sacrifice myself. Whoop! Jump into the program and kill him. And then you're like, and this is our happy ending. We stopped the annihilation of the world, but we lost Ill. Fuck that shit. Fuck you, game. You didn't have to write it that way. You know? I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, okay? After a shock at the truth, we started talking it over to piece it together. If we could manage to activate the judgment program within Ill, he wouldn't be restrained by a command like before. In fact, he could neutralize the functions of God. Know that against your creator, the attacks of angels simply return to spirit energy. He could even destroy God? This is amazing! To think we found the one way to defeat that god! We were at a stalemate before, but now I see a ray of hope. Yeah, there are other issues to work out, but this is a great clue for now. When Mia and Epilogi looked toward Ill with smiling faces.
I see. Epilogi, did you find any code or anything showing the design of that judgment program?
Yeah, of course. Although the encryption's too complex, so I can't really read it.
I might be able to decipher it. May I take a look?
Is this where he looks and finds out that he has to die in order to kill God? Because I'm just waiting. Look, I'm just waiting for something terrible to happen. Because so far, like, okay, there's been some weird shit, but it's been okay. Like, we're getting to an okay place where we're going to stop God from taking over the world and we're going to be good. So, like, you know. Epilogi nods, then switches places with Ill. I've just heard that there's a lot of fucking angst in this. And, like, this isn't, to me, angsty. You know what I mean? Like, now, there were moments, but, like, when the end ends up happening, it's like, oh, okay, great. But the way it's slowly kind of gone downhill with, I mean, you know, it's gotten a little more, like, bittersweet toward kind of endings. I don't know. It could have, maybe it's just Rindo's that just didn't sit perfectly with me, like, oh, great. It's like, yeah, but, like, I don't know, you know? Because I feel like, I mean, Ignis's route I did play, there was a long break for Christmas and everything over that. Like, not for you, but for me there was. Like, you know? So, maybe it's just been so long that I'm not, but, like Candace's ending was good. It was a happy ending. Sure, Venia tried to kill us, but, like, everything was fine at the end, you know? We all forgot it, got over it, we're all friends, right? Totally understand why he did what he did. Like, fuck Jerome and all that shit, and, like, Ignis's, like, story was, like, angsty, but, like, everything ended up kind of happy at the end. You're like, okay, great, we got him back and everything's fine, right? And then Rindo's was like, okay, I mean, like, everything, I guess, ended happy, but I just feel kind of bad that, like, he had to kill Mikado and his sister, and now he's, like, half a monster. Like, he kind of looks like a gremlin. It's a little weird. Like, I don't know, like, that, like, yes, everything kind of ended up fine, but I just didn't feel as, like, yay, at the end. I'm like, I guess I don't want to say I didn't like the route, because I appreciate what they did with it, but it wasn't like, awesome! It's like, oh, yeah, I don't know. It's just okay to me. It's a personal thing, you know? So, I mean, how everyone's been getting a little, like, darker, I'm concerned. But then again, there's a lot of people who play Atomic games like, I bawled hysterically when I played that route, and I've only cried once in one route. So, it could just be me, like, you know, where everyone's like, it's so angsty, and I, like, cried through the whole thing, and I'm like, no, it was fine. There was nothing good or bad about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I have good moments where I seriously enjoyed this. Like, the angels are fucking robots. This is great. Again, we were like, woo, ready for that over. And it's like, oh, and then we just kind of fell a little flat, but, like, still, there's been moments. But I'm scared for the ending until we get there. Like, you know what I mean? I'm concerned, is all I'm saying. So, anyway. Epilogi nods, then switches place with Ill. Ill fiddles with the device, as well as the code for the judgment program. It scrolls by at high speed with hundreds of thousands of strange symbols and letters, and after following it with his eyes...
I see. It'll take time to completely decipher it, but with these functions, it should be possible to defeat God.
The moment he says this, the movement of Ill's finger stops suddenly. With wide open eyes, he stares intently at the window, and is left speechless. Yeah, here we go. ill? What's wrong?
Is there some sort of problem?
No, it's just very complicated code, so I was a little surprised is all.
Yep, no, he's got to die to this is just where I feel like it's going to go, and it's going to be traumatic.
I should be able to crack the password for activation in 3 days.
Well, that's right before the Salvation Project. Then we need to work like crazy to make it. But let me check just one thing. There's something I'm worried about.
Something that worries you?
Yeah, according to the records, this judgment program is supposed to make God self-destruct.
Judgment program, a self-destruct function hidden in the combat program by a certain scientist because of his fear of God. It has presently been inherited by ill, right? Yeah, Epilogy's getting there. It's a self-destruct.
That means, don't you have to connect to God to actually activate it?
Yes, that's most certainly required. Also, between me and him, our consciousnesses must be temporarily merged.
What? There's a word I can't ignore and interrupt without thinking. What do you mean, merged?
To make it easy to understand, I must use a function separate from reconnection to share my consciousness with God.
Is that really okay? See, we're all getting to the point where this doesn't sound like it's going well. You have to self-destruct after that. Wouldn't you pretty much be destroying yourself? That sounds like it would affect you.
No, there's no need to worry, Spacey.
I'm shaken by unease, but to give me peace of mind, Il gives me a cheerful smile. He's lying.
The merger of consciousness, it's only temporary in order to set up the self-destruct in God. Our bodies are separate anyway, so it won't affect me at all.
You're saying that, but I don't believe you. Really? Then that's good.
Now then, let's inform everyone of this matter.
Yeah. Following after smiling ill, we leave the laboratory. I don't believe that. I just have a feeling the game is like setting you up like, see, and he's like, oh, it will be fine, and then he's gonna die. No, I lied to you because I didn't want to hurt you. Son of a bitch!
Could you be the one looking through this record?
The one who inherited that virtuous scientist's soul and genes? You who was so kind? We pray that the day never comes when you must use this function. He's gonna have to die to do it. Oh, okay, now, all right. That'll make me mad. And because it's not like, oh, there's any, it's like, so that's my happy ending? Like, fuck you! Like, I hate it when the happy endings or the true endings are like, that is not happy. That is not a good ending. That is a fucking living nightmare. I play these games to, like, not have to deal with this bullshit. Because, like, life is a fucking train wreck, okay? It sucks. I'm sorry, but it does, okay? Oh, there's, like, some good moments, but overall, it's like, it's a goddamn fucking piece of shit struggle. It sucks. And then you want to play these games and be like, hi, here's some, like, fucking angst. Bitch! 98% of my life is angst. Fuck off. I want some goddamn happy shit. Okay? Oh. No. I'm preparing myself like I hate it. Damn it. I mean, it could be wrong, but I'm just saying they're setting you up to be like, I don't know which way it's gonna go. I don't know and I don't like it. The next day, resistance operations against the Salvation Project began. The way to overthrow God, the time estimated to prepare the judgment program. The way to overthrow God, the time estimated to prepare the judgment program is 3 days later. The timing really was just before the Heavenly World executes its Salvation Project, but they likely know that we'll try to interfere. Using the memories of Solitus and Ill, they know the combat potential of Enchante. They would definitely take measures against us, so we divided roles just in case. Just like back at Amasaki Island, Miser was to operate the wormhole from Earth. And if that's the way it goes and Il has to sacrifice himself and then we lose him and that's like, quote-unquote, the happy ending because we saved the world, then it's like, I don't want to play Miser's route because it's going to be worse than that. Like, it's going to be worse somehow. I don't know how it could be worse, but it's going to be. And it just, I don't know. However, it won't be possible to completely close the wormhole, so this isn't anything but buying time. Epilogy will support Miser, and after God has been defeated, will search for and rescue abducted humans. Mikado and Mr. Rindo will lead evacuation of residents in the area estimated for the wormhole to open. Ignis and Canis will hold off any angels likely to try and interfere with Miser. And Il is gonna die. We'll hurry to ascend the tower and confront God using the judgment program before the spirit furnace starts to absorb. However, it sounds like one of the tower's functions is to deploy a barrier around it. The judgment program can't do anything to the tower itself. Like last time, it'll be necessary to ascend from the inside. And while I should normally stay behind since I'd get in the way, I'm gonna go because otherwise we wouldn't be able to say goodbye to him. When he dies, look.
I understand this sounds selfish. However, I want you to come with me. No matter what happens, I'll protect you. So as I settle this, will you see it through with your own eyes?
Il asked me directly. Yes, no matter where it might be, I'll see it through to the end by your side. I don't have any reason to decline. I nod without hesitation. Yeah, but you're gonna do that, and how the fuck am I gonna get back? See? Screw you, selfish. Make me watch you die and then, no way to get home. Oh, hey, we're here already? Salvation time soon approached. Complete assembly of the wormhole and the spirit furnace is ready. In the heavens with God, the apostle of the oracle bows his head. The apostle of judgment will unmistakably attempt to obstruct our plan. While last time I listened to your views and let him escape, it will not happen again. If that reaches me once more, this time I shall return him unto myself. Affirmative. Most certainly, I shall not allow him to obstruct your salvation, and I shall recover him and completely reset him so he never falls again. Solitus is so, fucking just mad that we stole his boyfriend, is all I'm saying. In order to confront the Apostle of Judgment, to perform final maintenance on himself, after watching Solitus fly down into the tower, God plays to himself. It seems the time has come to replace that as well. The furnace is like, bitch, I didn't do anything! Or is he talking about Solitus? Poor Solitus. He didn't do anything. I mean, he's been an asshole this whole thing, but he did nothing to God. He's been on your side and you're gonna, abandon him? You bitch. Miser prepares his magic. GPM instructs residents to evacuate. While everyone fulfills their roles, Il and others rush to analyze the judgment program. As for things I can do, to help everyone get even a little rest, continue to brew delicious coffee is about all. Before I realized it, the time had flown by. It was night before our plan would take place.
To prepare myself to see God, in my own room, I run a pen through a letter set. As I write the text, I ponder.
He's writing me a goodbye letter, and
to think a time would come when I, of all people, would try to destroy God. As several thousand years passed since my creation, in all that time it never crossed my mind. Not even once. Nor had I the capacity to contemplate some things. I doubt anyone in heaven ever thought that I could fall. While God, my creator, obviously understood such things, he's likely still angered by this. He likely thinks that if one creates a puppet, the very basis for emotion should have been erased from the start. However, regardless of how much unnecessary is removed from angels, as superior beings, and I myself was called the greatest masterpiece among those angels. Tracing back, the material for me was a human. Such living beings were used as materials to create the upgraded life form, so of course they possess a soul. Even God couldn't remove that, and could only seal it away.
Yeah, I mean, you basically took beings with souls and emotions, and even the spirit beasts that were there, they have feelings and emotions, and you turn them into... It's not like, hey, I created something completely out of parts and then it becomes sentient, and that's scary, but you took something that had emotions and turned it into... Just saying, in all your magic, that was stupid. You don't turn people into robots. They still be people. How many movies? God clearly hasn't seen a lot of movies where just robots become, more people-like. And you were using people to create robots and you didn't think they become people-like? Come on.
And that's right. In me, in all of us, there's a soul.
That's why I shall use that soul to make it possible to overthrow God. As I think of such things, my pen completes the final stroke. It's a goodbye letter. At last, I finished writing. I tried everything possible, but in the end, I couldn't find any other method, aside from using the judgment program. What I wrote were 2 letters. One of them, after staring down at it, no, the one to leave, is the one intended for epilogy. After changing my mind, I got up to tear the other letter, but unconsciously, the thing running down my cheek falls onto the letter. How pathetic of me. After gaining a heart, all I do is cry. Yeah, he's gonna sacrifice himself. I'm supposed to be fucking happy about this. Happy any bull fucking shit. Fuck you. The letter I was trying to destroy. That. I grip it tightly and press it against my cheek to hide my pathetic face. Why? I thought I could finally understand what I sought for so long. That emotion. Together with her. It's unfair. It's unfair. It's unfair. Yeah, it really is, because it's supposed to be a game and everything's supposed to be goddamn fucking fair and happy and wonderful. How many times did I repeat those words over the last 3 days? If possible, I'd run away with her right this moment. However, if I don't do this, everything ends. All the cherished things I've built up will vanish along with this world. And then at least... Ew, I like your smile. I must make this battle meaningful, to protect the time and place I spent along with her. This time, I stow the letter in a place it can't be found, and wipe away what's in my eyes. I'm sure she's likely still awake, and I go to her. I'm so nervous I can't sleep. As I sit in bed, I hold Kororo and mutter this. No, to be exact, I don't feel like sleeping. I don't even have the willpower to change my clothes. As usual, night at Enchante is peaceful. Even the sky looks so pretty. But tomorrow, right over Enchante, a battle with angels for the fate of every person in the world will happen. Q! Yeah, I know, Kororo. After all this, it's still unbelievable. I wouldn't say anything like that. Suddenly, a knock rings out. Everyone said they were going to bed early in preparation for tomorrow. Who could it be? When I say come in... I thought you'd be awake. It was Il who visited, but he has a somewhat sad smile. You can't read the mood. It's something you might say to me again, but... Spacey, would you like to go out on a date with me? It'll be our last date and our first one, kinda, sorta. How depressing. Look, maybe it'll be okay and they're just setting us up to be like, oh thank God, and like traumatized. I don't know, but I'm worried. After such a wonderful invitation, held by Il, we fly through the night sky and arrive at... Back then, the viewing deck we visited at the end of a date with him. How nostalgic. The night wind swaying my hair is the same as that time, and then the happy music in the background, like, fuck you, game. Quietly, me and Il sit down on a stable part of the scaffold. The two of us remain silent for a while and look down at the illumination of the city. Il suddenly closes the distance between us as he cuddles up to me. He begins to speak quietly. Back then, while on that date, I'm very sorry. Huh? Back then? Could he mean... I rather like your natural, smiling face. To reclaim that, I would do anything, even if it means facing the world as my enemy. No, you're gonna face God, so, yeah. Encouraging you with words borrowed from another. I thought that in such an atmosphere, saying such lines would cheer a woman up. I ended up simply replaying the words of the man I was imitating. When Il admits this, I return a smile to him. It's okay. True, you may have chosen the words by referencing a video game, but it's also true that you showed me such a beautiful sight, wanting to cheer me up. Thank you very much. However, it's strange.
and not much time has really passed since then. Yet that time feels like the distant past. And that's likely because I hadn't yet established my own will as ill, so my memories of that time feel like it was all in a dream. No, my personality itself at the time was more like a dream. Is that true? He did his best to propose the date, so I think he was the same gentle ill since back then. And supposing, even if he wasn't, you're here beside me now. Like this, you've cuddled up to me by your own will. You aren't a fictional person. I mean... okay. Yes. The wings on Ill's back flapped slightly. Or so I thought, but he was just using his wings to shield me from the night wind. How warm. As I entrust myself to him, he asks me an unexpected question. Spacey, do you like Enchante? Of course. It's the place I met you and everyone. I like it a lot. And I'm confident that I'll like it from now on and forever.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bad place of fucking memories now.
I see. I'm glad you said that. With this, my will to fight stands tall.
After Ill makes a decisive nod.
Spacey, I'll be burdened with a new sin of killing my god. Being emotionless or manipulated is no excuse for the many lives I took. I intend to use this judgment to atone for all of my sins until now, if only a little. I can no longer run from my duty. I won't be scared.
After Ill says this firmly, yeah, but you're saying that like you're not gonna die, and I kind of feel like you are, so. I understand, but you don't need to carry it all alone. You have me, and everyone at Enchante. If you're hurting, eat a float or other sweet at the shop. Make merry with everyone and soothe your heart. That's right. This place will always be home to you, too. Ill?
Yes, that's right. I'll return for sure. Regardless of the form that may take.
That's concerning. After Ill says this, so he's gonna come back but not be himself? He draws me even closer. Is this where we get our kissies, CJ? Understanding the meaning of this, I close my eyes. Then, yeah? But you barely see anything. You see an eye. Come on. Come on, game. You could have done better. If you're going to kill him, you could have done better. A kiss is gently dropped upon my lips. Right now, only one such emotion exists in this world, and by his own will, he directs it towards me. The moment I feel it, a happiness I can't put into words fills my chest. For seconds or tens of seconds. After feeling each other's warmth like this, reluctant to part, we press our lips together.
And no matter how many times I saw it on a game screen, actually doing this with the person I cherish, I can't help but tremble with nervousness.
With a gentle smile, Il starts drawing up bright futures.
After this is all over, there are many things I'd like to do with you, and the only help I've succeeded in so far is hanging the sheets after all. I want to become an even more reliable man. For you.
Maybe because he looks forward to that future, Ill's wings sway happily. Sway happily.
And next is dishwashing. After that, cooking. I want to try cooking with you. And for everyone to say it's delicious. I want to go places outside the city. Oh, right. I'd like to visit your hometown once more. I want to see the house you were born in. And now that I think about it, we didn't have time to gaze at the sea. Also, there's something I want to tell you. Warm feelings for you residing within my chest. Feelings that are likely unique in the world. I'd really like to tell you right now. No, I probably should tell you. But that's for when everything is over.
He's saying this like he isn't gonna die, but I really feel like he is. Like, I don't know what this game is playing at. Feelings he wants to tell me? I immediately understood the meaning, but I won't say it. Instead, okay, I'll be waiting. I nod with cheeks flushed hot with happiness. This is like such a beautiful moment, but I just feel like the game's gonna rip it fucking away. You're like, oh, why?
Spacey, that cherished tone that plays in my heart, my feelings and songs, are all dedicated to you.
He draws me close once more, and without hesitation, I answer his kiss again. game's gonna rip my fucking heart out. Son of a bitch. Then, just before noon on the big day, as though announcing the time, an evacuation alert echoes out. The government made an announcement thanks to the distraction Miser made. There was the possibility of a mass disaster due to adverse weather conditions. How the government got people to believe such absurd stories is impressive. Also, the mass disaster trying to occur isn't due to a bit of abnormal weather. The sound of cracking space was a signal for us to take action. I think it's funny. She's like, how the government got people to believe in adverse weather? It's because they listen. Meanwhile, in America, guys, wear masks. Masks don't do anything, people. Because nobody's wearing them, you jackasses. God. Like, fucking hurting a bunch of goddamn morons. Like, just do this. What? Oh my god. It wouldn't work here. You'd be like, fuck you, I'm staying in my house. That would be me. Fuck you, I'm just gonna die in my house. I don't give a shit. Evacuate, save your life. I'm just gonna die right here, thanks. Like, I know what I'm doing. Oh. Within moments, the sky begins to stain red. Then, in the center, just like on Amasaki Island, a giant wormhole begins opening to invade the human world. From that gap, a large number of figures fly out. They're probably angels trying to stop Miser. In that case, there's no mistake that the other side of the wormhole is the heavenly world Kylum. More specifically, the spirit furnace trying to absorb humans for God's salvation project. During this, we stand in front of the gate to immediately head to the heavenly world.
As expected, the combat-type angels have all been sent through to hinder Miser and the others. However, with one exception.
Yeah. Ill's eyes narrow. He probably means him waiting for us at the tower.
We managed to decipher the activation code for the Judgment program just in time. You ready, Ill?
Yes, of course. Please leave the last concern, the required spirit energy, up to me. I have an idea for the supply source.
All right then.
Yes, before the furnace begins absorption, we counterattack. No, have our rebellion.
At the same time, Ill makes a cheerful smile. Ignis and Canis, who are to help slow down the angels, come walking over with loud footsteps. Regardless of the combat strength they send, in this town, in this human world, we shall not allow it to come to harm. So go and fight with peace of mind. We'll be waiting for your return, Ill. Spacey.
We're working for your sake. Treat us to something when you get back, Ill.
And that reminds me, it's been a while since you called me a shut-in.
Does a nickname like that fit you now? Just go already. Teach that bastard looking down on us a lesson.
Yes.
You all be careful, too. Said that out of breath. After giving each other a last smile, Ignis, Epilogy, and everyone run off. All right, then. As though saying this, we go to open the door when there's a sudden ring on my smartphone. Well, we don't really have time to answer. It's from Karya, who's supposed to have evacuated.
He must be worried about our safety. It would likely just be a minimal greeting. You should answer it.
Thanks, Ill. The connection's bad in here, so I'll take it outside real quick. Oh no. Solitus is going to kidnap us. To put Karya at ease, I hurry outside the gate room.
Hey, excuse me for just a bit. Oh, Miser, what is it? I thought you were in position to inhibit the wormhole.
Oh, yeah, this is where he's going to reveal, and we're not supposed to be here, but it's the game again.
I just needed to confirm something with you, Ill.
Are you really going?
Yes, I already decided. This is something only I can do. You really are sharp. You must have realized from that conversation. Truly, you're a mysterious person to no end.
Yeah, no, he's going to go sacrifice himself.
You helped me quite a lot. I finally remembered everything from when I first came here. I knew Solon took me in, but as pathetic as it sounds, my memories were lost. That includes my true identity, too. If you hadn't extended a hand to me, I likely never would have met Spacey. You have my gratitude.
Oh my god, this is like brothers saying goodbye to each other.
Ill, Please don't say any more. There's only one thing I want to hear.
I got it. Go on, Ill. Protect the things you want to protect.
Yes, I'll be off. Miser, my cherished family.
like they're goodbye, and it's so sad. I hate it.
Sorry for the wait, Il. Karya says he's...
Huh? Miser, why are you here?
Oh, just to see you off real quick. Both of you, take care.
Oops, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, when we get back, we'll all have a tea party.
Now then, let's be off this time. To put an end to everything.
I just do not like where this is fucking going.
Much like when we headed to Kylam to save Il. I put my hand over his, slowly turn the doorknob, and head into the overflowing light.
I kind of just don't know. We've only got a few minutes left. We might have to stop in the middle of a battle thing, because I don't want this to go super long. So we're definitely not going to get the end in this part, but anyway. We'll go a little bit.
After passing through the gate, it's a contest of speed. The moment we're out, Il picks me up and makes a straight line for the tower in the center of the world. As usual, in front of the tower is a door with a powerful barrier. But while it tried its hardest, the arrows of light fired by Il blow it down by force. We instantly enter inside. He says nothing to me to confirm and just gives me a glance. Then takes off like a bullet, aiming for the summit where God is. An ordinary person wouldn't even be able to perceive the speed. I kind of have a feeling because, like, he's either just going to be gone forever, which wouldn't be a happy ending, or it's going to be, like, bittersweet, like in some of those Bad Apple Wars fucking endings. Where it's like, oh, it's, like, he's going to come back to us, but it's not really going to be him. It'll be like, because he said in whatever form. So it's like you're going to be there, but not somehow, like, oh, it's Il reborn, but he doesn't remember anything, and we've got to learn it all over again. Or, like, you know what, I don't know, it's going to be something weird. Where you're like, I know I should be happy, but I hate it. Thanks, I hate it? Like, yeah. Something white falling from above stops him. When he notices it, Il takes a big turn. The falling slash of light cuts through the feathers left by Il in the air. Inside this tower, no, in Heavenly World Kylam, trying to stop us, there exists only one angel. I shall not allow you to proceed. Could you stop? You're too fucking beautiful. This motherfucker. God. Solitus. Can Il come back in Solitus's body? Because I'd be okay. No offense, Il, you're sweet and precious, but Solitus is hot as fuck. I can't. If I gotta choose, it's gonna be Solitus. Like, he fits my pretty aesthetic. Like, I need the beautiful. As expected, you stand in our way. Is God's oracle that...
His oracle, you say? After giving us a cynical laugh, I could care less about such things. Opposed to Il's surprise, Solitus spits up an obsessive shout. This time I shall retake you. If you'll fall countless times, I must simply fix you each time. There's only one thing on his face. You do not belong in the human world, this closed-off garden of a world. You and I, together, this world is what we guarded. I shall return you to your proper form and kill that human, the cause of your fall. Nothing but pure anger. Yeah, I think God's gonna, when he was like that, he's gonna take him back because... Solitus, are you jealous? After listening to Solitus' shouting, Il relaxes the strength of his arm holding me. He relaxes his arm holding me, forms walls of light into a cube and seals me inside it, then faces straight at Solitus. Il? It's like a cage of light floating in the air. From inside, I hurriedly call to him, okay, so, like, I didn't expect that he's gonna one that puts me in a fucking cage, but sure. It's for protection. Okay. That makes me laugh, because, like, and every time it's like, it's for your protection. I need to put you in a cage. And this time it's like, but this is actually for my protection. And when he's like, it's for your protection. No, I trust you on that, because this motherfucker gonna kill me. I get it. Everyone else, it's like, if you go out in the world, you might trip and fall, and you're, like, incompetent. I have to put you in a dog cage. You're a psychopath. The fuck? Ill is literally trying to stop me from dying. I get, like, this 100% for my protection. Believe it, bitch. Believe it. It's just kind of funny.
Putting you in a cage for your protection.
The one time it's the truth and not like crazy talk. All right. It's like a cage of light floating in air. From inside, I hurriedly called him.
It's okay. I'll finish this quickly and ascend the tower with you. Solitus, targeting her will be meaningless. That barrier is linked to my spirit energy. If you want to kill her, you must first kill me, although I don't intend in the slightest to be killed.
In that case, I must simply reset you, dispel the barrier, then kill her.
I won't allow that.
They glare sharply at each other. In this tower, piercing the heavens, only these two angels exist within. When I blink, my eyes dried in nervousness. Their forms vanish in that moment. Light and spear crash together. Crash together. Oh, this is perfect timing! Look at that shit! Alright, I was like, we might have to, like, stop around here in the middle of the battle, but, like, this is the perfect place. Alright, so anyway. Not getting our good ending in this part. Maybe in the next part. I would assume that there can't possibly be another hour of battle. It'll probably be a shorter part, but... Well, it's still probably going to take 20 to 30 minutes to finish, and then you got to do the after, so it's still probably going to be like a 30 to 45 minute part anyway, but I'd be surprised if we can't finish in the next part. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.